Welcome to Pastor's Chat today. Well, we're looking at Luke chapter 2, and Luke is telling us the story of Jesus being born and his very first days in the city of Jerusalem when he was presented to the Lord, fulfilling the law of Moses, being circumcised, his mother bringing him, and his father Joseph, well, supposedly his father Joseph, his father, of course, was God in heaven, but they brought him to the temple about 40 days after his birth, and there they met Simeon, who testified and prophesied that he is indeed the Son of God. He also, there was Anna, who was a widow lady who had been looking for the Messiah also, with fastings and prayers, and she was excited. She had a word, as we said yesterday, and now we come to verse 39. And so when they had performed, and they, of course, is Joseph and Mary, had performed all things according to the law of the Lord, they returned to Galilee, to their own city, Nazareth. Now, remember, that's where the Annunciation, that's where Mary was when the angel showed up, Gabriel, and told her that she, as a virgin, would have a child. That's where the angel showed up in a dream to Joseph and told him that he was to take Mary to be his wife. The little city of Nazareth, I've been there many times, and it's a city just in northern Galilee, but it's an area in the time of Christ that was a region of rebels, a region of radicals, a region of darkness, the demon possession. Remember, Jesus did most of his ministry out of Capernaum, which is just a day's walk over from Nazareth to Capernaum on the Sea of Galilee. And out of there in the area of Galilee, when Jesus went to those cities, they were full of demon-possessed people. The armies of the world would march through this area on their way to Egypt. And it was a terrible place. It was a dark place. It was a place where sinners and evil, wicked people lived. That's the place Jesus would grow up. How fitting in this little city of Nazareth to be called a Nazarene, to be called someone from Nazareth was like disdain. They had their own little accent even, but it was a border city. So all this, it makes it very clear they went back to their own city, Nazareth. Now, there was a synagogue there, as we read later in the Gospels, and that's where Jesus, as a young child growing up, would have gone to learn the Old Testament and would have been faithful in doing that. But we need to also know that Jesus was the Son of God. He was perfectly sinless. He did not have a Adamic, sinful nature. He had only the nature of God. And from the very beginning, he desired to do those things that pleased his Father in heaven. Yet at the same time, he learned obedience. He learned how to live with some brothers and sisters who did not maybe like having a perfect brother. Jesus was always happy, always holy, always doing what was right. Oh, we can only imagine. We have very little about the life of Jesus between the time that he was born and the time that he was baptized by John the Baptist when he was 30 years of age. But we get a glimpse that when he was a child, he was still in Bethlehem, remember, because Herod was looking for him, maybe up to 2 years of age, went to Egypt shortly, and then came back then to Nazareth to grow up. So that's not told in the Gospel of Luke here, but we find that in the Gospel of Matthew. And so the child grew and became strong in spirit, filled with wisdom, and the grace of God was upon him. First two verses we read, and the grace of God. So he grew. So during this time, up to the time he is 12 years of age, because it tells us in these next verses, verse 42, when he is 12 years of age. So now we're going to have another story of what happened when Jesus was 12 years of age. But in the meantime, as a child, he grew. He grew in wisdom. That means he was studying God's word. Remember, he had a perfect mind. I love this. He had a perfect mind. So everything he read, no doubt, he remembered. And there he's reading about himself in the Old Testament, and he's realizing this is the prophecies I will be fulfilling. Well, God bless you. These are exciting verses. May you have a wonderful, wonderful day.